Hey guys, it's
Tick.
and Tack.
Welcome back to Borderlands 3.
Hell yeah. We're doing something. I think everybody's locked in their rooms.
Something like that. Gotta get to the bridge.
Sounds easy enough. Right?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Ah, baby, you're insane. Oh my god, she's insane. Alright, I'm gonna read my deck that I bought. Like,
Pre-made by a player.
eh.
Like, not like a real human, not just wizards.
I don't think so. I think it technically you would think so, but I think this is a pre-built deck. And the reason is because
Maybe it's a precon that's been modified.
No, because every single card in here is from the same set. Like every
They were probably using it for tournaments.
maybe, but like every single one in here is from the same set, and even the basic lands. That's why I'm like, it seems heavily like a regular pre-built, especially with how it runs. Oh my God, you're gonna die! No, Brayden, no! Where did I put the commander? I don't know. Oh well. Alright. You ready for this?
I am.
Ah! Excuse me. Okay. Angie's Ravager. It attacks each turn in Fable. Whenever he attacks, discard your hand and then draw 3 cards. Madness 2. Asylum Visitor. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Madness 2. Exotic Orchard. Warstorm Surge. Rick's Mahdi Dungeon Palace. Tap, add 1 colorless, pay 3, tap it. Target player discards a card. Activates ability only anytime you can activate a sorcery. 3 mana and target player discards a card.
Our incarceration was not without fruit. We may have a plan to open the vault without giving the Calypsos what they want again.
Oh wow, that's so
We know
great.
that after the power of the vault monster itself, we can hurt them. Tannis is looking into a way for you to destroy the monster before Tyreen can take its power. You saved the ship again. Thanks, Killer.
Okay. Overseer of the Damned. Flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target creature. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature. Murderous Compulsion. Destroy target tapped creature. Madness 2. Boneyard Harley. Exile up to 5 target creature cards from graveyards. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. Put all cards from the pile of your choice onto the battlefield under your control, and the rest into their owner's graveyards. Nice.
I have one kind of like that.
Yeah? For you?
Where it's like separate the 3 cards into 2 piles and then you put one in your hand and the other into like on the bottom of the library.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's in your your fucking Planeswalker deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used it once. Right. Solemn Simulacrum. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic playing card. Put the card on the battlefield tapped and shuffle your library. When this creature dies, you may draw a card. He's a 4-drop, damn. Rakdos Locket. Add 1 black or red. Pay 4, tap it. Sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. Geth, Lord of the Vault. Intimidate. Pay X, 1 black. Put target artifact or creature card with converted mana cost X from an opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield under control. Tapped. Then that player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard. That's pretty useful. Doomed Necromancer. Pay 1, tap it. Sacrifice him. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's a small price to pay. He's a 3-drop with pay 1, so 4 mana total, and you get to pull a dude out and put it back on the field. Ingruk's Wake, destroy everything that's not yours. Soul Ring. Nightshade Assassin. First strike. When it enters the battlefield, you may reveal X black cards in your hand. If you do, target creature is -X until end of turn. Madness 2. Sanitarium Skeleton. Pay 3, return it from your graveyard to your hand. Fiery Temple. Or Temper. It deals 3 damage to any target. Madness 1. Kirk, son of Yawgmoth.
Yawgmoth. He's actually really good.
Yawgmoth. He's a 7-drop.
He's a good creature, and then there's like Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, which is a fucking bogey land or something. Or artifact.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
So he's a 7-drop, but you can pay the 3. You have to pay 4, and then the other 3 you can either pay by 1 black land each or by 2 white each. He's got lifelink. For each black in a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay the mana cost.
Oh, so it's just like the original Phyrexian.
Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1 counter on him. That's hard to do, though, in this deck. Use his ability. And the reason I say that is because there's really not that much life gain. Like, that whole other game we played, I didn't run into a single card that had life gain. Like life link or way of return it, giving me some life. Not a single card. It's like, so it's hard ability to use. Key to the City. Discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. Whenever Key of the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Bone Miser. Whenever you discard a creature card, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land card, add 2 black. Whenever you discard a non-creature, non-land card, draw a card. Grimoire of the Dead. Pay 1, tap it. Discard a card. Put a study counter on Grimoire of the Dead. Tap it. Remove 3 study counters from Grimoire of the Dead and sacrifice it. Put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under your control. They're black zombies in addition to their other colors and types.
That's fucked.
Yeah, I tried to use it last time, but Connor had like a flash cancel target, like activated ability.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Triggered ability is what that would be.
Yeah.
It's like activated, triggered, or just...
Yeah, it's very sad.
I have one of those too.
Magus of the Wheel. Pay 2, tap it. Sacrifice it. Each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards. I like that card. It's kind of fun.
Dude, you fucked me so hard with that card.
It was so rude. And I didn't have any cards in my hand, so I just discarded nothing and drew 7 cards.
Right.
It was so funny. Plague Crafter. When it enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. Beacon of Unrest. Put target artifact or creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. Shuffle him into its owner's deck. Creature card from a graveyard under your artifact. Nice. Mire in Misery. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or enchantment. Okay. For 2 mana, that's not bad. Avacyn's Judgment. Madness X 1 red. It deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. If the spell's Madness cost was paid, it deals X damage divided as you choose among those permanent epic players instead. Grave Scrabbler. Madness 2. When it enters the battlefield, if its Madness cost was paid, you may return target creature card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. Armillary Sphere. Pay 2 tap it. Sacrifice it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, and shuffle your library. Skyfire Phoenix. Flying Haste. When you cast your commander, return Skyfire Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. Chaos Ward. The owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library.
I fucking hate that card.
It then reveals the top card of the library. If it's a permanent card, they put it on the battlefield. It's so funny. Got rid of your poor freaking Xenagos. It's just like, nah, bro.
No, it wasn't Xenagos. It was my commander.
Was it?
Somebody did it to my commander.
No, I think it was Xenagos. I think the game that we played, I used that against your Xenagos.
Yeah.
And then another time, though, Connor used a card similar and threw your Planeswalker into your library. And but you happened to draw him later. So that was cool. Alright. Chainer Nightmare Adept. Discard a card. You may cast a creature card from your graveyard this turn. Activate this ability only once each turn. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until the turn. Damn, that's so good. That'd be so nice a lot of the time. But, alas, I didn't that. Alright, the Eldest Reborn. It's a saga. Number 1, each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Number 2, each opponent discards a card. Number 3, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield on your control. That's nice. Stromkirk Occultist. Trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card. Madness 2. Curse of Fool's Wisdom. Enchant player. When an enchanted player draws a card, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. Madness 4. Ooh, that's good.
What's its normal cost?
6.
It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. It knocks off 2 mana, and it just means that every turn you're going to take 2 damage.
Yeah.
For drawing a card. And if I can make you draw more cards, then you'll just take extra.
Yeah. Unless I can get rid of it or do something like I don't have to draw cards on my upkeep or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is a thing.
It is a thing, but not likely you're going to have it.
Yeah. And then, like, exiling cards doesn't count as drawing them. So that would work. But
Oh, but it's also like, so whenever they draw a card, they lose 2 life, and I gain 2 life.
Right.
So every turn, somebody would be losing 2, and I'd be gaining 2, which is, like, awesome.
Yeah.
It's really
That's
nice.
super fucked.
Yeah, it's really nice, but I never got it, so. Alright, Zombie Infestation. Discard 2 cards, create a 2/2 black zombie creature type. Archfiend of Spite. Flying. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to Archfiend of Spite, that source's controller loses that much life unless they sacrifice that many permanents. And his madness cost is 5. His normal cost is 7, so it knocks off 2 to play him, which is really nice. Oh, why is my commander's in the middle of my deck? I don't know. So the thing is he's in the same color sleeve.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I wish he wasn't, but I don't feel like changing him right now.
Yeah, no, I just have to remember that my commander isn't one that gets shuffled up.
Yeah.
And in some of them, they are just different colors.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll read you what he does. Angie Falkernath. Wait, no, Falkenrath. Haste. Tap it, discard a card, draw a card. Whenever you discard a card, if it has madness, untap Angie Falkenrath. So, you can obviously see why he's the commander. Because he plays with the madness a lot, and he just fucking allows you to use it all the time. Just like just shit him out. Alchemist's Greeting. It deals 4 damage to target creature. Madness cost 2. Hate Mirage. Choose up to 2 target creatures you don't control. For each of those creatures, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those creatures gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. I like this card. Last time, the only time I used it, I used it with your guy that had Cascade, and then Connor's guy that had create 2 1/1 tokens, or create a token for every opponent he had. And so it was pretty. It's mildly helpful. Dark Withering. Destroy target non-black creature. Madness 1. See, I don't understand this card. It's bad. It's a really bad card. Because all it does is destroy target non-black creature, right? It costs 6 to cast it.
Yeah.
Normally. But its madness cost is 1. So it's terrible. Literally a Doomblade would be better.
Yeah.
Because it's 1 extra mana, but you can use it without using the madness. You don't have to discard it to use it. You can just use it whenever. And it does the same effect. So it's like, I don't understand why this card exists. It's terrible. Okay. Aeon Engine. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap it, and it reverse the game's turn order. That's funny.
Yeah. That's real silly.
I mean, it could give me extra turns faster. Because basically what would happen is... Oh, no, I guess it really doesn't. No, it really doesn't.
No.
I mean, I guess if I use it during someone else's turn.
But is it a sorcerer?
It's an artifact.
Oh.
So I can do it.
Cool.
So technically, I guess if you go, right, and then Connor would go after you, at the end of your turn,
You use that.
I would just use it, and then I get to go again.
Yeah.
And then Connor has to wait a whole additional turn. Like, another one. So, but I can use it at the end of your turn, so that it untaps during my turn, and then it goes to Connor's turn, and then I can do it again. So I can actually double the amount of turns that I'm getting.
Why are you just talking about harassing me?
No, I'm talking about this card specifically, using it as a 3-person thing. It's a reference. Because then I use it during your turn, and then it screws over Braden.
I thought for some reason
Yeah.
No.
And you could just lock out one person in a 4-player game.
Yeah, you could. Because, I would just keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked. Actually. Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
So somebody else would have to destroy it.
Yeah.
And you're getting double the amount of turns, which is just fucking over everybody else.
Yeah, I'm getting double the turns, and if it's a 4-person game, one whole person's not getting a turn at all.
Yeah.
They never get to go. Oof. For example, if play had proceeded clockwise around the table, it now goes counterclockwise. Wow. Okay. Violent Eruption. It deals 4 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets. Madness 3. Champion of Stray Souls. Pay 5, tap it. Sacrifice X other creatures. Return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Pay 7. Put Champion of the Stray Souls on top of your library from your graveyard. Bloodhall Priest. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, if you have no cards in hand, it deals 2 damage to any target. Madness 3. Soul of Innistrad. Death Touch. Pay 5. Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Pay 5. Exile them from your graveyard. Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Wildfire Devils. When it enters the battlefield, at the beginning of your upkeep, and at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a player at random. That player exiles an insert sorcery card from their graveyard. Copy that spell. You may cast that spell without paying its mana cost. I like that card. It's a lot of fun to have out. Grieven Predator Captain. Menace. He gets +X/+0, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. Whenever he attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you draw cards equal to that creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. Okay. He's okay. Call of the Netherworld. Return target black creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Madness 0. Nightmare Unmaking. Choose one. Exile each creature with power greater than the number of cards in your hand, or exile creature with power less than the number of cards in your hand. Bloodthirsty Blade. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has goaded. It attacks each combat available and attacks a player other than you if possible. Pay 1. Attach it to target creature and opponent controls. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. I really like this card. Because obviously if you're playing more than one other person,
Right.
yeah, 3 or more person game.
You just put it on their biggest creature, and then that creature can no longer attack you, basically.
Yeah, and it's forced to attack someone else every turn.
Every single turn.
So it's like either it's gonna die eventually by doing this, or it's gonna kill somebody. Like somebody's gonna die.
Or both.
Yeah, or both. It'll kill the other person, and then if it's still alive, it cannot attack you if you're the only other person.
No, it can't.
Is it? Oh, right.
If you're the only other person, it can't.
Oh, yeah. Attack. Activate this ability only. Oh, yeah. It attacks each combat fable. Attacks a player other than you. Fable. Okay, yeah. So I guess if it kills somebody else, then and you're the only other person, then yeah, it has to attack. But then I can pay 1 to remove it. No, I can't. Because it's not an equip cost. It's just pay 1. You just pay 1 to remove it. So I can move it to a smaller creature that I can kill immediately.
Oh, fuck you, game.
You just die.
I did the hunt too, or whatever.
Jeez.
Like, I killed all the dudes.
That's
and I
right.
killed the last one after I went, or right before I went down. So.
Goddamn. Okay. From under the floorboards. Madness X 2 black. Create 3 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens, and you gain 3 life. If this spell's madness cost was paid, instead create X of those tokens, and you gain X life. That's nice. Meteor Golem. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. God, but it's a 7 drop.
Yeah.
And it's only a 3/3, so it's like it comes out. That's it. It's done now.
But it destroys non-land permanent.
Yeah, so
like,
it can
if
be
you somehow
removed.
have 7 mana on turn 1, that's fucked.
On turn 1, I don't know what that would do for me.
Or not turn.
Just any time.
Like turn 3 is what I mean.
Yeah, it could do some serious. It could do damage.
Exactly.
Let's see. Sanctum of Eternity. Add 1 cost. Pay 2 tether. Return target commander you own from the battlefield to your hand. Activate ability only during your turn.
Oh, that could save your commander from being sent back to the command zone.
Yep. Sent back from the command zone, but see that's the other thing though, is it's
Or
like
sent to exile, or
sent to anywhere besides my hand.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then it keeps the cheap cost of a commander.
Yeah. And that's one of the things about this deck is it's like it's got some graveyard pull. So it's like usually you're never gonna want to send your commander to the command zone.
Right.
Unless you know you need it right away. And
Right.
you don't have a way of pulling it out for cheaper.
And you can't like just send it back immediately, technically. It's the next time you were to pull a card from your deck. If your commander is anywhere other than the command zone, then you can choose to send it back to it.
So it's whenever you draw a card.
Yeah, whenever you were to draw a card, basically. So it's not instant, like some people think. So, like, it can be taken from your hand, or not from your hand, from the battlefield, sent to the graveyard, and then before you draw a card, right?
Yeah.
It can be sent to exile and get exiled again for another turn,
Jesus.
or whatever. Theoretically.
So now the real question is though, what if it was sent to a graveyard and then someone took permanent control over it? They can't take it back.
No, because it's on the battlefield.
Okay. So it hits the graveyard and then that's what gives you an opportunity to steal it before the other person can draw a card.
Or if it's even just on the battlefield still.
Oh yeah, if you have that. But I mean like,
Yeah.
specifically like yeah, the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. Faith of the Devoted. Whenever you cycle or discard a card, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. See, that was the card I needed. some fucking life gain in it, and because I was discarding cards a lot,
Yeah.
but I couldn't fucking gain any life, so I died. Big Game Hunter. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. It can't be regenerated. Madness 1. That's nice. This guy, I kind of know why he's in here, but he's a terrible card.
Yeah.
Squee Goblin Nabob. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return him from the graveyard to your hand. So every turn he's going, if he's dead, he's going back to your hand. But he's a 3-drop,
Does it
1/1.
say you may?
Yeah.
So, you don't have to. He's a 3-drop, 1/1.
Yeah, but I mean, you might as well
But
put it back in your hand.
theoretically immortal 3-drop, 1/1.
Yeah, but it's 3 mana to play him.
Right.
And it's like, so I guess the idea is that you don't use him. You don't play him. What you do is you use him as a discard card because you know you're going to get him back. So every turn you have a free discard. That's what his whole thing is. Okay. Scare Tiller. Whenever he becomes tapped, choose one. You may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped, or return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That's nice. I like that. He's a 4-drop though, 1/4. So I don't know how you're gonna tap him other than attacking with him, but that's irrelevant.
There are some cards where it's like tap this, tap target other untapped creature you control to do a thing.
Yeah,
So,
It-
but
yeah.
those are usually green cards.
yeah. So not in this deck.
Yeah.
And that card was an artifact, so I mean, it was working. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Headness Strobe. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target opponent's graveyard.
He did this.
Whatever. You may play land cards exiled with Hedonist Strobe.
It's like stolen tactics.
You may cast non-land cards exiled with Hedonist Strobe. You can't cast more than one spell this way each turn. But if you don't have the fucking land to match the colors, you can't cast them.
Right.
Which is the only downside. I mean, you can use it on your own graveyard, which potentially can be really nice because it gives you a huge, like, supply of things that you can just cast whenever.
Right.
But, you know, whatever.
Clay says there's a traitor among us. You need my ID.
Obnixilis reignited. I was so sad. I exiled him using the one creature.
Yeah.
And I didn't have 5 mana. I
You had 4 mana.
I had 4, and I was just like, I can't even play him. It's so sad. He's just gone forever. It was depressing. But his +1 is you draw a card and you lose 1 life. His -3 is destroy target creature. His -8 is whenever or target opponent gets an emblem with whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life. Which is crazy, by the way. That's so much sadness.
Oh yeah.
Because it's whenever they draw a card. So it's like,
Yeah. Whenever a player.
yeah. So you, your opponents, and no matter how many times, boom, 2 life every time. Hedron Archive. Tap it, add 2 colorless, pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. Gorgon Recluse. Whenever he blocks or becomes blocked by a non-black creature, destroy that creature at the end of combat. Madness 2. Now that's good. Because it's a 5-drop normally for a 2/4.
Yeah.
And you can madness him out for only 2 black mana.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and since it acts like a instant, you can use it when somebody attacks you or something.
Yeah.
It's great. Malevolent Whispers. Gain control of target creature until end turn. Untap that creature. It gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end turn. Madness 4. It's so fucking stupid. See, it's cards like this that are stupid because all they're doing is just trying to use the ability of Madness, but they don't do it in a way that matters.
Right.
Like they're
They
adding
don't do
extra
it in a
steps.
good way.
Because okay, so it's a 4-drop sorcery, right? Its madness cost is 4 mana. You could have just made it an instant.
Right.
Because that's what it is. It just makes it harder to use it because now you're required to discard it in order to use it at an instant speed.
Right.
So it's just weird because it's like, was that really necessary? Okay. Flare of the Hatebound. Undying. When this creature dies, if it has no ++ counters on it, return it to the battlefield and choose control with a ++ counter on it. Whenever he or another creature enters the battlefield from your graveyard, that creature deals damage equal to its power to any target.
But madness counts for that. So.
Undying.
Right, but madness counts for that specifically.
What do you mean? It's only from graveyard.
Right, but to use the madness cost, you have to discard the thing.
You're right. Well, yes.
And so they're entering from the graveyard, technically.
Okay, if you discard this card, discard it into exile. When you do, okay. So I don't know if it hits the graveyard. I think.
Oh. Well, that's usually what discard means. Is it goes to the graveyard.
Yeah, but that's why I think
That's
that's why
why.
it specifies that instead discard it into exile.
Yeah.
So that way it's like you never. Yeah, basically. But that'd be sick as hell.
Yeah. No, it's. That was just my immediate thought. Was like you can pair that with madness, but no, you can't because it's silly.
Yeah, but also I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, so he's okay. He's a 6-drop, 4/2, and then when he enters the battlefield, he gets to deal 4 damage to target creature. Wait, hold on. Enters battlefield under control. That creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. So yeah, he gets to deal 4 damage to any target. And then when he dies and comes back, he gets to deal 5 damage to any target. And it works with other creatures that are played from the graveyard. But I don't think there are many creatures in this deck or anything that can play shit from the graveyard.
Right. They probably put it in thinking about madness, but not understanding what madness actually does.
Maybe, but I mean,
That would make sense to me.
so I'm gonna look it up. I just want to look up to see if a card with madness hits
But-
the graveyard before it goes into exile.
Well, it says if you discard this card, discard it into exile.
Yeah.
So it never hits the graveyard.
Yeah, so I don't.
And you can't play from the graveyard because it never gets to the graveyard.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is why they probably have it in there, but not understanding what madness does.
Yeah.
Because there are discard cards that are just better than that.
So I'm just trying to think of like, oh well, I guess this one, this guy literally allows you to cast creatures from your graveyard. He does,
Yeah, but that's like one card in a 100-card deck.
and
It's not based around it well enough to be done properly.
yeah, it's weird. And then like, cause like other stuff like this, where it's like you may put a creature card from the graveyard on the battlefield under your control, that's not considered casting it.
No,
That's
because
playing
it says put.
Yeah, so it's
I
like,
mean, that's not playing it, that's putting it.
yeah,
Which is like a distinct difference.
yeah, and so it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it works. Like it'll be useful to an extent. And if you had like this specific card out as well, it'll be really useful because then you actually are playing creatures from your graveyard. But otherwise, it's kind of like a okay. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Like that card should be in a different kind of deck.
Yeah,
Is
definitely
what
one
I
that
think.
definitely one that takes advantage of that ability way more.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like an Undying deck. Because
Oh right, what does Undying do?
literally, if he dies and he doesn't have a +1/+1 counter,
Oh, yeah, no, there's a freaking Zane made a deck that takes full advantage of Undying.
yeah,
And basically, you remove 1/1 counters when you give -1 counters.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is, Vineyard made one back when we were in high school,
Yeah.
or middle school. It literally, there was just a card out that said, creatures he controls can't have negative counters on them.
I thought it was +1/+1.
Either way,
It can't have
it
counters.
can't
on
have the
them,
counters
probably.
that it gets by dying.
Yeah.
And so it allows him to use their abilities infinitely because he sacrifices them, and then they come back, and then they lose their counter, and so he can scry infinitely, and then when he has a specific one out, when it enters the battlefield, it deals like 2 damage to target creature or player.
And then you just use that over and over.
You can just use it infinitely
Yeah,
and
exactly.
kill your opponent.
Something like that
Yeah.
would work better for that kind of that kind of card where it's like every time a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it does this thing.
Yeah.
Or like you can take full advantage of carry-on feeder and stuff like that.
Yeah, you just sacrifice and get an infinitely large creature.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, it's that's that deck. Maybe I should just look it up and then build it just for funsies,
Yeah.
so I can have that deck and play
Or something
it.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he switched out a specific card in it because the card that was supposed to be was way too expensive, and so he just got something that was like good enough, or that just did another thing that was useful.
Yeah, but we have the power of a printer.
That's true. So, anyways, it's pretty funny. It was a funny deck. It wasn't foolproof because he didn't really have a good way of protecting his anything.
Right. And so something like Grave Pact would just fuck him over.
Yeah, because it would force him to sack his creatures before his Undying ones entered could return.
Right.
Because it's basically, it goes in a step where it's like if you have to sacrifice 4 creatures, you have to do that before any of those creatures, if they have Undying, were to re-enter the battlefield.
Right.
So the creature that gives him the ability to remove those counters instantly would die first before.
Unless it's like an enchantment or something.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a creature specifically.
You could probably get one that's an enchantment. Is what I was getting at.
Maybe, yeah.
Probably.
And so, anyways, that's what also his deck was really susceptible, or would lose, usually to burn, because you just burn that creature, and once that creature goes away, you're done. The deck no longer works.
Yeah.
And if he never gets that creature, again, it doesn't work. So, it was a fun deck. It was a funny deck.
Yeah. It's like slivers, basically.
So, it was just hard. Because he also had one in there that gave him infinite life.
Yeah, it's like every time this creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life.
Yeah, or some shit like that. And so you just do it. And it has Undying, so just infinite life. And that's why, like, one game I played with it with my goblins versus it, we were at a stalemate because he had the creature that let him get infinite life, but he didn't have the damage creature and he didn't have the scry creature. Which the scry one was Viscerous here.
Yeah.
But he didn't have those ones, but he had the infinite life and the one that allowed him to do that. So he just, it was literally a game of where who's going to draw the thing that'll kill the opponent first, where I needed to get my mill card, or the Altar of the Brood, so I could just mill him out instantly by tapping Krengo, and he needed the thing that gave him the ability to kill him for infinite damage.
See, the real play would have been for him to put in something like Apply to Nature.
I guess. Like 22 minutes for this video, and then an hour and a half of the other one. Why? I want to play Magic! Is that what you're going to say?
We could also wait until tomorrow to record something like that.
Yeah, we can wait till tomorrow to play Subnut. Is that what you want, Connor? Connor, respond. Well, I guess Connor's decided he doesn't care.
Yeah, basically.
But I like that idea. Just because I do want to play some.
Right.
Before it gets too late.
What time is it now?
It's 9:39, so actually, it'll be exactly 10 o'clock when this video is over. And if we're going to play, like, regular Magic, we'll get a couple games in.
Yeah.
In, like, 30 minutes, we could probably actually get, like, 2 games in.
Right.
Instead of, like, 2 hours, we get 1 game. So bad. Yeah, because what? Fucking, I came over Thursday. We played a game.
Played 1 game.
Yeah, we played 1 game. I got there and we started at like 10:30. and we weren't done until 12:30.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That's just the way Commander is, though. Which both sucks and is fun, you know?
Yeah, like it's fun to have such a long game, but also just sometimes it's just like
It's too much.
long. It's too.
Yeah.
It hurts my soul because I'm just like, it's hard. It makes it hard to sit down and play one. I think
Right.
That's it because you're like, you don't know how long it'll take, but you know that it's gonna take at least like 30 minutes.
It's one thing I like about my sliver deck.
Well, yeah, the sliver deck is
Because
literally
the slivers don't give a fuck.
Yeah, the sliver deck will make the game last 30 minutes. Like typically,
Yeah.
unless you get really unlucky and the opponent can just hinder you enough that they can win, or at least make it take way longer to pull off the combo.
Right. But, like, most of the time, I can get that sliver out turn 5.
Yeah, once you get the sliver out, you can always get the sliver out, no matter how much mana it costs, or
Yeah.
how many times it returns to the commander zone.
Yep.
Because you have so much mana after you play the mana slivers. And once you have the lands, you have the lands. So chances are nobody's going to fuck with those.
Yeah. No, stuff that fucks with lands are actually few and far between, even in regular Magic.
Yeah, it's hard to build a deck around land destruction.
I know you did it once, and it pissed me the fuck off.
Oh yeah, well the whole deck was literally not even like to be good.
Yeah.
It was just to do that.
It's just like mine. My fucking turn your creatures off one.
Which one is that?
It's just full of pacifisms and
Oh
shit.
yeah.
It's exactly like that, because it wasn't designed to be, like,
Good.
it wasn't designed to win. Right?
Yeah. That's just, it's the same with my minus deck. Where just it gives them minus until end of turn. So I'm just constantly killing your creatures and attacking you with like 1/1 goblins.
Right.
And that's it. But I was just thinking about it. One way, so there's a goblin, right? He's a 1-drop 1/1 with. I can sacrifice a goblin to gain 1 red mana. So you could use that goblin to help increase the speed at which you can play a mana burn deck or land destruction deck.
Yeah.
Because obviously all the land destruction cards are red, and red's hard to mana ramp in.
Yeah.
So you could go red-green to mana ramp. So I mean, yeah. I
Use
don't know.
stuff like Fertile Ground.
Yeah, but one of the biggest things is if you're thinking about actually winning, and I know in my deck I had like Garooks in it, so that they could spawn
Dudes, yeah.
beast creatures just constantly.
Oh, shit.
But that's harder to do. Because one thing is like once the opponent got a creature out, they had that creature.
Right.
Like the only way to get rid of it would be if they were to attack me and I block with a creature. But it's so hard to get creatures because I'm so
You're not
focused.
worried about that. Yeah.
I'm so focused on destroying your lands that every turn I'm destroying your lands. So if you could get a card that was cheaper, that can spawn creatures every turn, like just some sort of creature every turn,
Mm-hmm.
that would be good because you just need a passive creature production.
Right.
So you can focus all your mana on land destruction. But then the other thing is you need drawing. You need to be able to draw your deck. Because if you can't draw, you're going to run out of land destruction cards. Because...
Add something like Howling Mine. It is a 2-drop artifact that every turn for each player as well. So you can take advantage of it for forcibly discarding other people's hands.
Oh, yeah.
But you draw an extra card for each instance of Howling Mine. So you'll draw like 5 cards if you have 4 Howling Mines out.
Yeah. But so if you have 1 Howling Mine, now you draw an additional card, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so no, something like that would be great.
And it's like a 2 or 3 drop. It's literally nothing.
Yeah, you're drawing like 2 cards a turn at least, and then you're dropping 1 mana every turn, and you're passively creating a single token every turn.
Right.
And like that's not impressive, But if your opponents can't play anything,
Because they don't have the mana, because you keep fucking destroying it.
yeah, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't have to be impressive. They can be
It just
fucking-
has to work.
Yeah, they could be 1/1 soldier tokens, or just some shitty
1/1
creature.
goblin tokens, or
Yes.
something ridiculous. Like you play a what's it called? That one fucking stupid card,
I don't know.
Fist of Ironwood, right?
Fist of Iron- oh, yeah.
It don't even have to put it on a creature. It just comes into play and creates a sapperling, right?
Two.
Yeah, it does.
Two
Two
1/1
sapperlings, and then it bounces away, right?
Yeah.
And then you just populate every turn
Yeah, just get a popular
with
card out.
like freaking a 4-drop or whatever.
Growing
And-
ranks or something.
Yeah, growing ranks, which is a 4-drop.
But so, anyways, the whole point is
Stuff like that.
You gotta get a passive thing, and I mean, like, the Garuk that I had in there wasn't bad. I think he was like a 5-drop, but he's a
like
5-drop.
most the Garuks are.
Yeah, but he's a 5-drop, and that's
Right.
really
5 is a
not
lot.
fast. It's not fast enough that by that
Right.
point your opponent's gonna have at least some creatures out, and they're at least a couple 1/1s or something.
Right, unless
They'll
you
be
go
fucking you.
full bore on the mana ramp. So you need Druid of the Elysian Grove, so you can play 1 extra land every turn, and then all of your lands can be tapped for any kind of mana, right?
Yeah.
And then shit like that one fucking sloth creature. All it does is
Yeah.
it is a 1-drop 1/1, and when it comes in, or no, it's a 1-drop 0/1, and
Yeah.
when it comes into play, it you can play a land from your hand,
Yeah.
and just put it on the battlefield.
Additional.
Yeah, and just a bunch of shit like that.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
So
though,
you
is
can
it's-
play more lands every turn.
It's
and
so
then-
hard to balance though, because you got
Right.
because the whole thing is to be destroying their lands faster than they can even play anything.
Right.
But at the same time, also have things, because land destruction in and of itself isn't going to win you the game, because you can't kill your opponent by destroying their lands.
You can kill your opponent by waiting them out,
I guess, but if you're
and you
drawing
just need
faster,
shit like Elixir of Immortality.
I mean, maybe yeah, and grind clock.
Yeah.
Every turn you do it, and then
And that's
eventually
how
just-
it wins, is like through mill, not by anything else. And it just they have to just passively sit there and lose.
Mill and land destruction. It's
Yeah.
insane. I was considering building a mill commander deck, like an actual good one. But I was like, you guys would never let me play that deck. I get to
No.
play it once, and then you guys would be like, fuck that shit.
Well, that's the same thing that happened with my slivers.
Well, yeah, because it's so brokey.
Slivers are fucked, and they're like almost completely and totally unaffected by mill.
Almost.
Yeah, almost, because of how fucking broken they are.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, is it's like, it would be ridiculous. Anyways, I'm gonna look it up. Best land destruction deck MPG. Feels good to be in the field. Oh, this is taking forever to load. Oh, right. Tabletop. This deck would cost you $600 to build. Indeed. Okay. Let's figure these cards out. Damn. This one card's $176 for all of them, I'm assuming. Okay, so. I think it's okay. Ragavan Nimble Pofolo. Is a legendary creature. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and exile the top card of that player's library. Until end of turn, you may cast that card. Dash 2. Make dash this spell? Oh, that's nice. But he's only at 1 drop too. This is a land destruction deck, right? Yeah, it is land destruction. Okay, so that guy comes out and makes your day stand a little bit. Okay, so he enters the battlefield. Okay, Seasoned Pyromancer. When he enters the battlefield, discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. For each non-land card discarded this way, create a 1/1 red elemental creature. Pay 5. Exile him from your graveyard and create 2 1 elemental creature cards. Okay. I'm not seeing any land destruction here. Fury. 5 double strike. Enters the battlefield. It does 4 damage as you choose among any number of target creatures and/or planeswalkers. Evoke. Exile a red card from the hand. What does evoke do?
Maybe it's exile a target red card from your hand, and then you play that card for its evoke cost.
Anyways. Alright, planeswalkers, apparently. Chandra, Torch of Defiance. +1 exile top card of your library. You may cast that card. If you don't, Chandra Torch of Defiance takes 2 damage to each opponent. +1, add 2 red mana, -3. 4 damage to our creature, -7 again. And whenever you cast a spell, it does 5 damage to any target. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of burn. I'm not seeing any land destruction yet. Chandra, Awakened Inferno. Okay, I don't want to do this. Okay, spells. Lightning Bolt. Deals 3 damage to any target. Cleansing Wildfire. Destroy target land. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle their library, draw a card. It's 2 drops. I mean, it's okay, I guess. Shatter Skull Smashing. Shatter Skull Smashing does X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, it deals twice X damage divided as you choose among them instead. Okay. Pillage. Destroy target artifact or land. It can't be regenerated. Boom/dust. Boom to destroy target land you control and target lands you don't control. Pay 5. Pay 6. Destroy all lands. Damn. Everybody's lands are gone. I hope you didn't need those. Okay. Artifacts. Unlicensed. Curse. Tap exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Unlicensed cards' power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards exiled with it. Crew 2. Okay. Lands. Cascading Cataracts. Indestructible. Tapping. 1 colors. Pay 5 tether. Add 5 mana in any combination of colors. That's cool. Okay. Flagstones of Trocaire. Tap it, add 1 white. When it's put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may search your library for a plains card, put it on the battlefield tab, and shuffle your library. Needle Leverage Pathway. Add 1 white. Okay. It looks like a flip land that if it flips, it taps and adds 1 flip land.
Oh, yeah.
Russell Vale Bridge. As with a tap, it's indestructible. Sacred Foundry. As battlefield, you may pay 2 life. If you don't, it's definitely tap. Snow-covered mountain. Just a mountain. Basic snow land.
Yeah. And there's something about snowlands. Like, there are certain cards that require snowlands to be played.
Yeah, probably gonna find one soon. Snow-covered plains. 1 of those. Sideboard. See, this deck didn't really feel land destruction. You know?
Right.
It had like a few cards that destroy lands, and then 1 that destroys all lands.
But that's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, I want to be actively making you sad the entire game by every turn destroying a land that you placed last turn. Like, that's what I want. Okay, let's look at the sideboard. Prismatic Ending. Exile target non-land permanent if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of colors of mana spent to cast this spell. Okay. Hollowed Moonlight. Until end of turn, if a creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. Rest in Peace. When Rest in Peace enters the battlefield, exile all graveyards. If a card or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. Fracturing Gust. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. You gain 2 life for each permanent destroyed this land. See, yeah, this wasn't very land destruction-y. It wasn't giving me that vibe, you know? It was weak.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's probably a good deck, but I mean, just because
It's not a good land destruction deck, which is what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's got it in there, but it's mostly just burn you and make you sad. That's about it. Okay, land. I don't know what commanders. Land destruction color combinations. Turn 1, destroy land. Modern MTG. Okay, alright. Red. Only cost you like $120 to make this thing. Okay, land. Blood crypt. Okay. Darkstone Citadel, Ghost Quarter. I don't know what that is. Sacrifice to destroy target land. Its controller may search the library for a basic land pool or other that's weird. Yeah. He's a land destruction deck. Or card. For nothing, technically.
Yeah.
That's a first turn, destroy the thing, but then neither of you have lands. So that's fine. Lava Claw reaches. Pay 3. Becomes a 2/2 black and red elemental creature with X. This creature gets plus 2 to creature. Fulminator Mage. Sacrifice or destroy target non-basic. Okay. That counts. Shivian Wumpus. Trample. When it comes into play, any player may sacrifice a land. If the player does, put Shivian Wumpus on top of its owner's library. Oh, that's interesting. Gives you kind of the choice. It's a 4-drop for a 6/6. So basically, if you don't want that person to have that 6/6 with trample, you can sacrifice a land. But it goes on top of the library, so they're going to drop it next turn. Yeah. So it's a little rough. Okay, other creature, Simian Spirit Guide. Remove Spirit Guide in your hand from the game. Add 1 red to your mana pool. The fuck? So you just take it out of your hand and it's gone. Now you get 1 whole red mana.
Right. Do you want to just call it here?
No, I'm going through this hand real quick.
Okay.
You can just run around the ship or something. Sorcery. Boom Bust. A pay 2. Oh yeah, this is that one with destroy all lands. This is a 6 mana. Crumble to dust. Devoid. This card has no color. Exile target non-basic land. Search its controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that land, and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or library. That's rude.
That's cool though. It's devoid of land. Or devoid of color. Like, that's sick.
Yeah, it has no color. And it's
Exactly.
a 4-drop. But it costs 1 red to cast it.
Doesn't mean anything. You can put it in a colorless commander deck.
Yeah. Because
Which is what's cool about it.
it's devoid of, because it's devoid.
Because, like, mana doesn't matter. Like, lands don't.
Yeah.
You can't have a creature in a commander deck that produces another type of color.
Yeah.
But if you have, like, a basic red land in it, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, destroy target land. If that land was non-basic, it deals 2 damage to the land's controller. Okay, instant. Lightning Bolt. Of course. Surgical Extraction. Black. Or pay 1 black or 2 white. Choose target card in a graveyard other than a basic land card. Search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles his library. Damn. For 1 mana or 2 life? That's rude. Artifact. Crucible of Worlds. You may play land cards from your graveyard. For 3 mana? That's cool. And then Foresian Totem. Tap add 1 red to your mana pool. Pay 5. It becomes a 4/4 red giant artifact creature with trample until its turn. As long as it is a creature, it can block an additional creature. That's nice. Still, not much of a land destruction though. It's not. I guess that's probably just because you can't win by just filling up with land destruction cards, like I did. And so they're just like, it destroys lands, okay? And it does it pretty well
Probably.
But you have to win, so it has to get rid of their creatures, and allow you to actually kill them. So, okay, well, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing.
Definitely go check out our third chin.
Yeah, and until next time, peace out.
Bye-bye.